Welcome to Fatherhood, the Power of Presence podcast. I'm Neville F. Solomon, author of How to Sabotage Your Children. Every week, we explore practical ways to strengthen fathers, build healthier families, and leave a legacy that lasts. Thank you for joining me. Let's get started.
So imagine being like the ultimate high-powered executive.
Yeah.
You know your client's deepest needs.
Right.
You hit every single performance target down to the decimal, and you can, anticipate market shifts before they even happen.
You're completely dialed in.
Exactly.
Right.
But then you walk through your own front door, and you are effectively an absentee intern.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Like you don't know your own child's biggest fear. You have no idea what they daydream about.
A total disconnect.
It really is. So welcome to today's deep dive. We are unpacking this terrifying, but honestly highly common phenomenon for you today from a custom stack of notes.
Yeah, these are based on Neville F. Solomon's book, How to Sabotage Your Children.
Right, and it's a concept that completely flips traditional parenting, specifically fatherhood, completely on its head. We're looking at the power of presence and, well, the reality of the invisible father.
That title, it's chilling, really, because of how insidious it is. Our mission for this deep dive is to look at emotional absence that happens, right in plain sight. We are talking about fathers who are physically sitting at the dinner table.
Or sleeping just down the hall.
Exactly. But they are entirely unreachable to their kids. We're going to examine the hidden, the neurological and psychological damage that kind of invisibility causes.
And most importantly, we're going to unpack the highly practical toolkit the sources provide to actually fix it.
Yes, to bridge that gap and change the dynamic.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Because the core misunderstanding driving this whole dynamic is it's this deeply ingrained belief that providing financially is the exact same thing as being present emotionally.
Right.
We have generations of men who believe that if they just pay the mortgage and keep the lights on, the job is done.
It is the ultimate historical trap. Society has basically conditioned men to view fatherhood entirely through the lens of resource allocation.
Yeah, the provider role.
Right. The equation is incredibly simple to them. I work hard, therefore I love you. But the text points out this brutal reality. It says a father can live in the exact same house as his children and still be a total stranger to them.
A stranger? That's heavy.
It is. Because this isn't about physical abandonment. It's about a man who is just exhausted from providing the roof, but he's completely absent from the life that's happening underneath it.
The cognitive dissonance there is just wild to me. A dad is standing in the kitchen, he's exhausted, and he's thinking, everything I do is for my kids.
And he really believes that.
Right, and objectively, his labor is for them. The money buys the food, it pays the school fees.
Sure.
But the irony is that while money buys comfort, it does absolutely nothing to build a child's self-worth or their security.
What's fascinating here is the complete biological and psychological disconnect in how adults and children interpret love.
Okay, break that down for us.
So, as adults, our brains are wired to measure love by sacrifice and, money spent. We look at the 60-hour work weeks, the tuition payments, the expensive toys, and we view that as a massive declaration of love.
Because it's tangible sacrifice.
Exactly. But a child's brain does not possess the capacity to translate a paid electric bill into a feeling of emotional security.
They just can't make that leap?
No, they can't. A child calculates love strictly through whether you show up, through proximity,
right.
Undivided attention. The child is still just asking, do you see me? Do you hear me? Do you know me?
Which brings us to the story of Michael from the source material. This anecdote it perfectly captures that disconnect.
It's a heartbreaking example.
It really is. So we have this boy, Michael. His dad works incredibly long hours, buys Michael the best clothes, the best birthday gifts, all of that.
The standard provider model.
Exactly. But one evening, Michael is waiting by the door. He's just vibrating with excitement to show his dad this school project he poured his heart into.
And this is what developmental psychologists would call a bid for connection. It's a really crucial, very vulnerable moment for a kid.
Right, and the father walks in, totally drained from being the provider, looks at the kid and says, "Not now, son, maybe tomorrow."
Ouch.
And of course, tomorrow becomes next week becomes next month. The gut punch here is that 20 years later, Michael does not remember the expensive sneakers or the toys.
No.
He only remembers waiting. He just remembers the feeling of waiting for his dad.
That loop of maybe tomorrow, is devastating. The source actually references Harry Chapin's classic song, Cats in the Cradle, to anchor this idea.
Oh man, perfect cultural touchstone for this.
It really is. It's that creeping, tragic realization that the relationship is slipped away while you were busy paying for the life you thought you were building together.
Yeah.
And this unintentional absence triggers a very specific cascade of hidden damage. It starts with emotional disconnection.
Let's follow that thread. Because a kid like Michael doesn't just wait by the door forever, right? I mean, eventually, the disappointment has to change their behavior.
Exactly. When a child consistently extends these bids for connection, like holding up the school project or asking to play, and they are constantly met with, "I'm busy,"
They adapt.
They adapt. The human brain is incredibly efficient at protecting itself from repeated emotional pain. So the child stops sharing. They stop trusting.
They just build the wall.
Right. Because it hurts too much to keep hoping for a connection that never comes. They simply stop trying.
But that energy, that need for connection, it has to go somewhere. If they stop trying to connect with their primary male figure, they don't just become perfectly independent little adults.
No. The vacuum created by that disconnection leads directly into the second major fallout, which is severe identity struggles.
Okay.
And this is a critical point from the text that we really need to understand today. Fathers play a monumental role in identity formation. A father's voice literally becomes a child's inner voice.
Wait, literally? Your actual voice becomes their internal monologue. That is terrifying.
It is a massive responsibility. If that external voice is constantly saying, "Not now, I don't have time," the child internalizes that as, "I am not valuable, I don't matter."
Oh.
And without an active father affirming their value, kids carry those exact unanswered questions right into their adult lives.
Which naturally spirals into the third hidden damage, right?
Yeah.
A complete lack of confidence.
Yes.
If you don't have that internal voice telling you that you matter, you are incredibly fragile.
Think of emotional presence like an emotional immune system.
Oh, I like that analogy.
So the financial provision, the money that builds the hospital and buys the bandages, but a father's active, affirming presence builds the white blood cells.
It builds the actual immunity.
Exactly. Without that baseline of confidence and security, the child has no immune response against the world. They will inevitably seek out the validation they were denied at home.
Like from peer groups.
Right, from peers, from unhealthy romantic relationships, or by crowdsourcing their self-worth on social media.
Okay, I have to jump in here and just play devil's advocate for a second.
Go for it.
Because if I am a guy listening to this right now, and I am working 2 jobs just to keep the lights on so my kid doesn't grow up in poverty,
Yeah.
isn't it a bit unfair to say he's damaging his child identity just because he's tired? Like, how is that not love?
It feels brutally unfair. And that is the tragedy of this entire dynamic. The father, in your scenario, is operating out of profound love.
Right.
The source text is hyper aware of this. It clarifies explicitly that this is not about intentional absence, and it is absolutely not about inducing guilt.
But the impact on the kid is the same.
Yeah.
Regardless of the dad's noble intent.
Yes. We have to separate the father's intention from the child's developmental biology. The child's brain requires direct engagement to feel secure. The goal of this material isn't shame, it's awareness.
Because awareness is where transformation begins.
Exactly. It's the profound difference between doing your best while being completely blind to this reality and doing your best while recognizing you have a blind spot that needs managing.
So what does this all mean? If we aren't blaming the fathers, we have to look at why this is happening. The source doesn't just point fingers, it explains the why.
Right. And fathers carry heavy burdens.
Huge work pressure, overwhelming stress, this constant equating of workplace success to home success.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, we have to look at generational patterns and the lack of role models. Many fathers are simply repeating what they experience.
They're running on outdated software.
Precisely. If your father's only expression of love was working in a factory and never speaking about his feelings, well, that is the only language you know.
You literally might not know how to give emotional presence.
You cannot teach a language you were never taught to speak.
But the source offers this incredible, really empowering pivot point here. It says, not knowing is different from refusing to learn.
That is the hinge upon which the entire philosophy turns. Ignorance is a circumstance, but refusal is a choice.
It moves the conversation directly from the problem to the solution.
It really does.
And here's where it gets really interesting, because learning that new language requires redefining love. The material argues that children spell love, T-I-M-E,
Time.
Time. And before we write that off as just some cliche bumper sticker, we need to look at the practical toolkit the sources provide to actually fix this.
Right. The toolkit is where it becomes actionable. The first tool is practicing true intentional presence.
Which means no half listening.
No scrolling phones.
Yeah.
It means when you are with your child, you are actually in the room. You're bringing the same focused executive function to your living room that you bring to the boardroom.
Which is hard. But the second tool makes it a bit more manageable. Daily connection rituals.
Yes.
Bedtime conversations, family meals, school drop-offs. The golden rule here is that consistency matters far more than duration.
10 fully present minutes every single day builds a reliable neural pathway of trust. A child learns, I can always count on this moment.
That's powerful. Now, the third tool. I have to say, I bristle at this one.
The scheduling.
Yeah, the text insists that fathers need to schedule quality time, like outings, weekly chats. Wait, putting your kids on your calendar, isn't that a bit clinical? Like treating your kid like a quarterly review?
It feels clinical until you unpack the psychology of it.
Yeah.
If you use the exact logic from the text, look at how we operate as adults, we schedule what we value.
That's true.
If a client meeting is critical, it goes on the calendar. If meetings go on your calendar because they are important, your children should absolutely go on your calendar too.
Because it proves they are your ultimate priority.
Exactly. If you rely on leftover time, your children will only ever get your leftovers.
Okay, I see the mechanism there. Now, to make sure that scheduled time isn't just two people staring at each other in silence, the source provides a brilliant 5-question toolkit.
These are so practical.
Every father can start using these today. Question 1, what made you smile? Question 2, what was difficult? Question 3, what are you looking forward to?
Question 4, is anything worrying you?
And question 5, how can I support you?
And we must emphasize the strict rule that follows these 5 questions.
Oh yeah, this is the hardest part.
Once you ask them, your only job is to listen. You do not fix, you do not lecture, you just listen.
Which goes against every instinct a provider has. If your kid says math is hard, the dad instinct is, let me show you how to do the fractions.
Because solving the problem makes the father feel useful. But when you immediately jump in to fix, you unintentionally shut down the emotional connection. The child wasn't asking for a tutor, they were asking to be heard.
Just listening proves you are a safe harbor, not a repairman.
Exactly.
And that brings us to the ultimate real-world application of this entire deep dive. I want to speak directly to you, the listener, right now. The material issues, the fatherhood challenge of the week.
The genius of it is in the simplicity.
Spend exactly 15 uninterrupted minutes with your child every single day. No phone, no TV, no distractions, just focused presence.
Anyone who commits to that will see a shift. Because to synthesize the ultimate message of the text, fatherhood is measured by how you show up, not just what you provide.
They don't just need a provider.
Right. They need a guide, a mentor, a protector, a listener. The standout quote for me is, children don't just grow up in a home, they grow up from it.
They grow up from it. Wow.
This raises an important question, something really vital for you to mull over. We talked earlier about how a father's voice becomes a child's inner voice.
Yeah.
Think about the script your child will be playing in their head 20 years from now when they face a major life failure.
That's a heavy thought experiment.
Will that inner voice be a distracted, not now, maybe tomorrow, or present, how can I support you? The presence you choose to invest today literally writes the script they will rely on tomorrow.
The script they rely on tomorrow. That really is the whole ball game. So the challenge is set for you. Show up. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you on the next Deep Dive.
As we close today's episode, remember this. Children don't just grow up in a home, they grow up from it. If you'd like to learn more about my workshops, corporate wellness programs, church seminars, or order a copy of How to Sabotage Your Children, I'd love to connect with you. Contact me on +278 3417 0319. Until next time, I'm Neville F. Solomon, reminding you that fatherhood is more than provision. It is the power of presence. Take care, and I'll see you in the next episode.